Hi, Kim.
Hi,
Nice to see you again.
thank you. Nice to see you too.
Thank you. And how have you been recently?
Honestly, like pretty good. I feel like I'm I'm almost done with my exams.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm going back home for the holidays. So everything's pretty good. My family's ready to see me and I'm ready to open some gifts.
Nice. It's always a good feeling when the
Yeah.
holidays come around and, it's a fresh start.
Yeah.
How are you feeling mentally?
Mentally, I know we touched on a few points last time. I would say the cold is definitely giving me a challenge, but I'm fighting the cold.
Yeah,
I'm trying to stay optimistic and I'm watching fireplaces on YouTube to help heat up my heart there a little
that's
bit.
a good one.
But yeah, a little bit stressed because of exams, but overall I would say mentally I'm doing pretty good.
Okay. And your motivation levels, like how do you feel recently with in terms of motivation? Because I know school can be stressful, especially with exams. So
Mhm.
just like accounting for everything all together. How would you feel?
Yeah, my motivation is pretty good too. I feel like I've been very focused this year to like stay on top of my stuff, on top of my schoolwork, on top of my groceries. Like I have like a good system going. And then I worked a lot on my timetable and my
Okay.
planning. So I feel like with my job and my school and my volunteering, like I figured out like a schedule that works for me better now.
Perfect.
So overall, like yeah, pretty confident.
That's
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Does it kind of like give you a little bit of relief creating that times table?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Is it
Yeah.
just like an organization kind of helps you feel at ease a little bit more?
Well, it's just like before, I feel like I was, I just kept like feeling busy, like more busy than I actually was
Yeah.
because I wasn't figuring out the time during the day properly. Like I didn't have a set schedule. Like even though I did, it was kind of like go to work at this time, but then it's like the extra stuff. Like I
Yeah.
hadn't figured all of that stuff yet. And I realistically can do more than what I think I can do. I just have to write it down and see it for myself, and then I'm like, oh wow, okay, I do have more time than I thought I do in a day to
Yeah.
do like other stuff because I think I was narrow minded before, and I was like, oh well, like after I got home from work, I'm like, I'm busy all day because when I got home from work, I was like, oh, I'm tired,
Yeah.
and that counted as like me being busy,
Yeah.
but realistically it's like I still have six or whatever, 6, 4, 3 hours to do something else.
Yeah. So that's good that you
Yeah.
came to
Yeah,
had a
that
little
was a
bit
lot.
of,
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of a realization or like, and it's nice to see that you're using those, like you have that internal motivation within you. That's like, it's a very like optimistic viewpoint. So it's good to have
Mhm.
because, life does get busier as we get older, I find. And it's nice that you can kind of like see that in a different perspective now and in a different lens and kind of adjust and then try new things,
Yeah.
which is nice. Um, so just touching base on our previous session, I also still want to let you know that this is a completely open environment, judgment free. I want you to feel super comfortable here. So as we talk about these things, if anything ever like comes to make you feel uncomfortable or anything, please feel free to let me know. Or if there's anything you don't want to discuss right now, that's totally okay. We can move on from it and maybe touch on it another time. It's I just want to make sure that you feel safe and comfortable here. So
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, we can proceed,
okay.
but thank you for telling
Yeah, of course. So how were your last 2 weeks just in general? I'll ask you a little bit more specifically once we get further into the session, but how are you feeling over the last couple of weeks there?
me. Over the last 2 weeks, um, I feel pretty confident and comfortable now. And I feel a little like that all that stuff you were saying at the beginning, like even the motivation thing, like I feel like that has increased, and I followed your advice. I did a I walked a couple days a week. Just I tried it out. Even if I was cold, I was like, okay, even if I don't want to do like, I'll just get out there, I'll just try it out.
Yeah.
Um and then once I got outside, like I'd be like, okay, I'm only gonna do like 2 minutes. Like I'm just gonna do like 2 minutes. I'm gonna set my timer, my phone's gonna go off, and I'm just gonna come right back, probably jump in the bath or something, and then come up.
Yeah.
But I noticed when I was walking that like it wasn't that cold.
Yeah. Because when you're walking, you're like, you're creating energy, so your body's keeping you a little bit warm.
Not only that, but I was wearing a big jacket. Like I bundled up properly, and I just feel like that big um that big barrier, that big boulder of me being like it's cold, like I can't do physical activity outside.
Yeah.
I felt like as soon as I got outside, I was like, this is not that bad.
So it was like a fear kind of instilled in your head, and then you tried it and you're like, this actually is not bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice that you kind of came to terms with the realization there. It's nice that you can kind of make light of the situation instead of like, a lot of people I find like dread going outside. And even when they are out there, they're like, oh my gosh, like it is cold. But
Yeah.
you didn't find that.
Yeah, so well, saying that, I went and walked 3 days,
Okay.
oh, a week for 2 weeks.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we talked
Yeah,
about.
I wanted to do every day, but
Yeah.
the next day I didn't want to.
Okay.
If I'm being completely honest.
No, yeah.
But I would like to get there. Like
Okay.
I would like to build, and I think I can now. Like I didn't feel like this before because I was like working from the ground up, but now I feel like it's like I have a little foundation, and I want to kind of explore my other options now when it comes to like getting a little bit more physically fit, because I did like the walking, and I
Yeah.
think I'll continue walking, but now I'm also like, hey, like maybe I should challenge myself a bit more, see
Yeah.
what my other options are.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything from walking? Like, in a sense that you were like, okay, I want to start walking, which you did, and you started off with 2 minutes, and then you kind of, like, were you ever in a position where you were like, I like walking, but I just feel like there's something else. Like, I want to do something else.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly the feeling I got. Like while I walked, we had talked about last time that I could use like apps and stuff. So
Yeah.
so I downloaded an app, and it keeps like a counter on my steps.
Okay.
And
That's exciting.
I connected it to like my health app on my phone, and it gives me like little challenges and little games to do, and it like that will increase, like that will also increase my walk. But I I want to now I want to try something else. Like
Okay.
I like the walking, but I think I need a bigger, like I want something that's gonna make me more muscular.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
just like a one kind of a step further.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good idea. And I'm proud of you for being able to achieve what we talked about before, because I think the initial step is such a crucial aspect to this whole journey of yours. And it's really important. Like, we have these really big goals that we want to work on. And I'm like really happy that you achieved that first step of the way. We can check that off of the list and reward ourselves for that, because at the end of the day, like, you pushed yourself. So that's what we wanted here. And we wanted self-growth. And it's obviously seen by me. Like, I can totally see the difference even in the way you speak about physical activity. Because,
Thank you so much for saying that. That means a lot.
yeah,
I don't feel like I've done that much, but I feel so much better about it.
yeah,
Like I feel so much better about myself that I've at least taken like a step. Like I feel like I had this big like brick wall, and like I can't carry a whole brick wall by myself, but I felt like you just told me just bring one at a time.
Yeah,
And then eventually like you'll get rid of the brick wall,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah, and it seemed even from my last session that you were always very passionate about physical activity and you're willing to try new things and like you're very like you want to experience new physical activity things to do. So I think that even just with this little foot in the door and like taking that first step of going for those walks, I feel like you kind of unlocked a new sensation of, oh, like physical activity is actually, it can be good and it can bring me joy. And are you proud of yourself for kind of what you've achieved there?
I am. I really am. The biggest thing for me was like, and I said it last time, but just the overthinking.
Yeah.
That was such a big like challenge for me. And then when we had talked about it last time, like you helped build me up to this point where I was excited to like start a new project or a new challenge. And then when I actually did it and didn't just say I did it and didn't do it, I did it.
Yeah.
Like I noticed, I was like, wow, like that overthinking part, like that's what I wanted, you know? And I feel like that's also helped with like me mentally too at the same time. Like, I think physical activity is really important for mental health. And for me, like I've always known that it's helped me, but I had reached a point where I had stopped.
Yeah.
And like I really appreciate you taking like the time to go through these steps with me to help rebuild not only like my physical activity levels, but also like increase my mental health,
Yeah.
you know?
Of course, and that's what I'm here for, you know. I want to make sure that you feel the best you can, like mentally and physically, and we try our best to like together to come up with a plan for you and see what works. Because, like I said in my last session with you, we don't want to. This isn't about just like jumping right in the deep end. Like we're here to work and take our time, and we're not trying to stress you out or do things you don't want to do because ultimately like this is something that I find it's just hard to adapt to sometimes, especially when you are busy and finding those little things that will just bring like a little bit of joy into your day or you look forward to doing it. That's what we want here. And coming given that you've come from a physical activity past, like you've had different experiences with sports and such, I think that it's important for us to, you know, talk about things openly. And like, even if you don't like something, you know, we won't do it again. So it's nice. But would you, and I'm proud of you also because you know, like we talked about the 3 times a week, and sometimes it is hard initially to like do the 3 times. You're like, okay, I did it one time, and you know, at least I did it one time, but you stayed on track, and that is so important.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
of course,
I I was actually a little proud of myself too.
yeah, it's a big reward, and I think even maybe you could even give yourself a little reward and go for like a little extra walk a week or something. You know what I mean? Like if you genuinely enjoy doing that.
Well, and what I liked is like I noticed that the more I've been walking like every week, like I did 3 days a week and I did 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so not too bad, but I noticed like in other aspects of my life,
Mhm.
it's kind of helped me, like not only mentally, but also some of my habits. Like I feel like when I'm walking and stuff, it's made me feel better about myself and it's made me feel healthier and you know, just the fresh air, it combined, it just makes me want to do like better habits. And I feel like I don't know if this is normal, but like decreased my drinking habits.
Okay.
So I'm consuming like less alcohol now. And I just was wondering, like, in what your suggestion is to like kind of keep on the track.
Yeah, so I was actually gonna ask you if you've made any changes recently in your lifestyle just based off of this first initial session, just because you just mentioned to me you cut out alcohol.
Yeah.
And how long has it been since you cut it out?
Well, after that first walk I had,
Mhm.
then I felt really good. I slept really well, and then I didn't go out that weekend.
Okay,
And then yeah, and usually that's when I drink, and like I'll go out
on the
with
weekends.
friends and stuff. It's like but I just didn't feel the need to do that. I was feeling better about myself, like, and it's making me think differently now, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like you were taking your health a little bit more seriously now.
Mhm. But
So
another habit that like I've noticed is like the days that I do walk,
mhm,
like I go to bed earlier.
okay.
Like
And
I
you
don't know why. I but yeah, every single time I feel really refreshed, relaxed, and then I take a nice shower and then I just go right to bed. Like
do you find yourself like um more tired at the end of the day? Do you think that's what it is? Because sometimes like on a normal day that you wouldn't be working out or doing exercise, you still have to those like excess calories that you're not burning, right? You're just like chilling and watching something
well,
that's
that would be my usual habit is like get home from work or from volunteering or from like a night
yeah,
out or whatever it is, and then sit on the couch, snacks,
relax.
relax, movie. But I'm not. I'm very. What's the word when you don't like really move? Like
Oh, sedentary.
yeah, like I very much have that kind of lifestyle.
Okay.
Other than like going to school, which requires like walking and stuff.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it was then, because I think you're probably like your body's just not used to you like using that much energy throughout the day because you are like continuously doing tasks and like continuously releasing those like burning those calories, you know what I mean? So I think that's probably why your sleeps have been like you've been pretty tired those days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so for talking a little bit more long term, uh
Okay.
we're gonna look at like the next 3 months now. Um, so what are some things that you wanted to work on for the next 3 months? I know you said you were thinking about maybe getting a little bit more tone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that something, has that always been like a goal for you, or is that something that's like up and new and incoming after like just starting being more physically active?
So I have been like thinking about it a little bit, like what I want, like, but if we're saying 3 months, I want my endurance to increase a little
Okay.
bit. I want, me to have like a more toned body. Um, I'm kind of looking for something outdoorsy
Okay.
because I'm getting used to like the walking feels really refreshing, and I like being outdoors. Like
Do you like the fresh air?
yeah, I feel, and it's like winter and there's snow.
Yeah.
Like I still like the snow. I just don't like the cold,
Yeah. That's
right?
understandable.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's like a love-hate relationship, you know?
Yeah. So I'm looking for maybe like a winter activity that I
Okay.
could do that's like outdoorsy. Like I I'm pretty athletic, so if it's like something
Yeah. Would you ever think
it
about skiing?
um I I have done downhill skiing, but I don't find it like works me out as much as I'd
Okay.
like to.
Yeah.
But if there's like different forms of skiing,
Yeah, there's
like
more
there's
of like
what's the called?
the cross country.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That one is a little bit more endurance based. It's gonna be,
I think I would like to try that
yeah.
as my goal.
And that could be something that we either start like with our next session or we can work towards in like later sessions or
Mhm.
even start now. It's totally in your hands. Um, I would just say there is like a bit of a factor as in the equipment. So that's just
Okay,
something
that's
that
what
we
I
would
was
have
thinking.
to look into there. But if you're open to it, we can look into that together and potentially get the equipment for you if you want to rent it. I'm sure that's an option as well. And there are certain places around our neighborhood, or I'm sure your neighborhood, that we can find in their paths that you can actually go on, or even groups that you can try. So I know different social media, like cross country ski groups have just like group chats that you can add yourself into your Facebook group chats, and that way you can meet people in like a social realm as well, and kind of have like a group support because you are trying something new. So it's probably nice to have just a little foundation there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And is that like something that you would consider maybe joining like a group like that?
I think that's a better option for me
Yeah,
than because I was just gonna try it alone, like just by myself. Like I was just gonna rent the equipment.
and go and try
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah, but either or, honestly. Like I think my goal is more like I'm interested now. Like I'm
yeah,
interested in doing this. Like I know I want to do this. Like I like downhill skiing. I've just never tried cross country skiing.
yeah. And
And it's like it's what I want. Like it's like a mix of like the endurance with the toning, with the I just hope I don't fall.
yeah, but it's okay if you even if you do fall, you just pick yourself right back up and you get back on your way, you know?
And it comes with options, or what does it come with? Like
Um,
if I wanted to do, say, because my endurance is not the best. If I'm
yeah,
being honest. Like the walking, like the 10-minute walks, like I still feel it like after.
yeah. I would probably say, if you're doing it alone, for sure you go at your own pace, you know what I mean? And you want to make sure you're doing the correct form before you pick up the pace because you don't want to injure yourself in any way, shape, or form. Especially given that you're just coming right back into physical activity. You know what I mean? We're trying to do this to help you in the long run, and we don't want to have any injuries along the way. So even if you did join a group setting, I'm sure there are newbies all the time. I'm sure they're very welcoming, and they wouldn't have the opportunity for you to join their group or learn from them if they didn't want you there. So there's probably going to be people in that group that are going to stick by your side the whole way and kind of teach you the ropes as you go,
Okay.
you know?
And is it like some of the barriers that I'm just thinking of is like financially, are there like options like such as like student discounts or um
Yeah,
like certain days are cheaper?
I honestly think that it depends on the routes that you're choosing to take. Like, as in, like, for example, like, there's like paths that are built just for cross country skiers.
Oh, okay.
So I think that it would be important for you just to reach out if you want and kind of ask those questions and go from there. But for the most part, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, so I would like to do that. And how many times a week do you think I should do that?
I would say maybe we can start with one,
One.
you
Yep.
know, because you do still like to walk. So maybe, and it's going to be a higher like expenditure that you're going to be using. Like you're probably going to need to spend more time there because to set up your equipment, you have to probably drive to the route and drive back home and, probably do things like that. Um, Whereas like walking, you're just leaving your house, right? So
Mhm.
those are probably once a week. And then if you find yourself enjoying it quite a bit, you can try incorporating it more. Because initially we talked about doing 3 days a week. But now that you have those 3 days covered, do you find that you have more time in your schedule to do like another day or
I do think I could do like another thing. Or even like now it's like even on the same day that I am walking,
yeah.
like I can do it after.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's
Because
a
I've seen like walking is like it's not as bad as I've created it in my brain. Like
yeah,
that bubble for me was
like it's more of a flexible approach. Like
yeah.
you can really do it whenever you have the time for it.
Yes, and it's refreshing, it's easy, like it makes me feel good about myself. Like
Yeah.
I really like that. I don't know why I just never thought of it something simple but effective before like that.
Yeah.
like walking.
And I think that's a common, like, it's
I
a
know it
common
sounds
feeling.
ridiculous.
No, it's so true though.
Yeah.
It's very like, I feel like physical activity is like a high, very high misconception of, taking up all this time or like being in the gym for like 3 hours, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But really it's just the little things or like the small little things that you can do on your own time that will just get a little bit of your time, you know?
And I think my goal too, so I want to do cross country skiing once every week.
Yes.
I want to aim for 1 kilometer.
Okay, that's a good goal. And is that like at the end of like your first session, you want to have it 1 kilometer done?
Yeah, like
Okay.
if I have, I'm gonna, that's gonna be my aim. Like I'm gonna try it the first time I do it, but if I can't, like I'm gonna try to build up to it,
Yeah.
right?
So maybe we could say your goal is to hit 500 meters.
Okay, yeah.
And then
Maybe bring my goal down a bit.
maybe just
Yeah.
for the first one, because who knows, like once you've got everything on, who knows like how your body will be feeling while doing those movements because it's a new sport, right? Like it's not like you've done it before, so you got to adjust a little bit.
Okay.
So we don't want to be like unrealistic and then like have a negative opinion towards it in the future, right? So maybe we'll start off with 500 meters. And then if you break it and you go past it, then it's like an added bonus.
That's good.
And if you don't quite reach 1 kilometer, then you know you've achieved half of 1 kilometer. So for the next time, you might be able to achieve the full kilometer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I think that that's a good start. And I feel like also you'll have like the group with you if you do decide to do it with them.
Oh, right.
And I'm sure that on those paths that are set up for cross country, they have markers on them that will tell you like every 100 meters, like how far you've come basically during the whole path.
Okay.
So
And
you'll know.
and I know they have races. So like
Yeah,
maybe long, like not for 3 months, but maybe long term.
like in
Like
a year from now.
I would be interested in maybe participating in a
Yeah.
race
And I think
too.
that's such a great goal
But
to have.
I always like shoot too high, and then like when I don't reach like what other people are doing, I'm very hard on myself. So I feel like sometimes the comparison
Yeah.
is just what I'm a little bit nervous about, where it's like, this is a new activity for me. And when I go in, I'm gonna be like, they make it look so easy, and when I struggle, I feel like sometimes I might compare myself,
Yeah.
but to like other people. And especially when I'm trying something new, like, it's not fun to be like the person that's not good at something new.
Yeah. And that's like I totally understand where you're coming from. And that is so human to feel that way. But also you have to remember that you can't break yourself down because you are just a human, like you're trying something for the first time, just like someone else might be trying something else for the first time, and at least you put yourself in that position to try. And if you look at it in the bigger perspective, and you look back to where you started from, like just think about our last session. You weren't even considering that as an option.
That's so
You
true.
know, so the fact that you even put yourself there and tried it or are willing to try it is such a goal on its own. So even if you don't get first, or even if you don't finish the line or make it till the end, at least you tried and you figured out if you liked it or if you didn't like it. And it's okay to lose. Like it's so human. It's so okay to just like feel that way. And like it is like such a crappy feeling in your heart because you've worked really hard for it. But at the end of the day, it's still a win because you still were physically active and did something to better yourself for the future, physically and mentally. You know what I mean? And I think it's just the way that you look at that scenario, or you look at that in your brain and you're like, well, I can either take it like a grain of salt or I can make it like the biggest deal in the world. And it might feel like that in the moment, but in a bigger perspective, it's just another stepping stone for you to find maybe something else that you like. Like you mentioned, I think it was last session that you liked racket sports. Well, maybe we could
I
try
love
racket
racket
sports,
sports.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't started racket sports in the last 2 weeks. I know I wanted to drop into one session,
Yeah,
but I did get more information on it.
okay,
So there's this there's this place, it's called like the RA Center, and they do drop-in activities, and they have it every Tuesday, and it just seems like, and um some of my friends that I've made in Ottawa, I didn't even know, but they go on Tuesdays,
that's
like that thing,
awesome.
yeah, that at that location. And I haven't actually gone yet, but that was just like me again procrastinating.
Yeah, and that's okay. At least now you know. So maybe if you feel like reaching out one day, because I know right now is a bit of a stressful time, but since exams are going to be over for you soon, maybe in the new year or right after your last exam, you
Mm,
could reach out and say, "Hey, how are you guys doing? Maybe we could go play squash or something one day,
yeah,
or pickleball or
100%. Like that, and I'm excited to do it now. I think also that's why, like maybe in the last 2 weeks, I haven't maybe like wanted to go, or like just had the not the time to go, but like just had like the focus to go,
yeah,
was because like I was a little bit more school oriented.
yeah,
But since I heard that, especially that my friends are going, like I'm really excited to go now. Like it's something for sure, for sure. Like
yeah.
for sure, like once my exams are done, like
You
I'm
know you're gonna go.
straight to the court.
Yeah. And that's so
Yeah,
fun too. Like
yeah,
knowing that you have those friends that are gonna do it with you too. And it's just like it's a very like social approach to physical activity, which is great because you're having
for me,
fun.
for
Yeah.
me too.
And that's a big thing with physical activity is it's meant to be fun. That's its number one rule is you don't want to stress yourself out while you're doing it. At the end of the day, it's there to release your stress and like you want to enjoy it. So it's nice that you have that opportunity with your friends and hopefully in the future you can make those plans and the next time we speak, we can talk about if you've done it or not, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think in 3 months, like that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna aim for once a week. For
Okay.
but I um now that you're like saying it like that, I think that it'll be like an either or. Like either I go on Tuesday, do like a racket sport, or if I didn't do that, like then I do the skiing on like the Friday or
Okay.
something.
Yeah. And that's an option and you have two options there.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
that's a good way of looking at it too, because it's like you wanted to do at least 1 week of, or sorry, 1 day of like some sort of more fun exercise.
Mhm.
So that's a good option to do like one or the other if you can't make one, right?
And I just need to figure out like a way to figure out like the recordings, like for how I'm like putting down my information. Because I wanted to write it down and stuff, but I didn't get to it. Like I haven't.
Oh, like for the amount of times per week that you've kind of
Yeah, like I
done.
wrote it down on my phone, but I think that like I don't know, maybe like a different, like maybe I could put like a calendar on my wall or something. Like, do you
Yeah,
think that would help me? Like maybe if I see it and I write it down, and then I could see like what I did in a month, and then maybe just like take a picture of it or something. I
yeah.
just find like the consistent like going in my notes and like writing down everything.
It's a lot
I
sometimes.
it sounds so minor, but for me, it's like I need to like see it.
So maybe we could do the calendar approach and even on your times table, because I think you mentioned that you created your school schedule for the next
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
You could even adjust your school schedule, so like print it out,
Yeah, okay,
you
that's what
know,
I'm thinking.
and then on your school schedule, like say this hour after this class or in between these classes, I'm gonna go for the walk. Or like this
Mhm.
10 minutes after this class, or like this Wednesday that I have free, I'm going to after my one morning class that I have the rest of the day. So I'm gonna do cross country skiing that day.
Okay.
You
So
know?
let it be like a little bit more flexible instead of being like on Tuesday I do this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because that's what I'm like. kind of saying right now.
Yeah, because it also depends on your course load. Like if you have a lot of heavy courses and you know you'll have a lot of assignments and things due, like I think that you have to be realistic a little bit when it comes to planning out like these different sports and things you're gonna incorporate in your lifestyle.
Mhm.
And we just adjust from there. So like typically on a Wednesday, if you have a Wednesday for free, you would do the most like time consuming.
Okay.
Okay, so depending on if you've scheduled like study sessions or something, the days that you don't would be like the cross country days or like the squash
Okay.
days. Yeah.
See, I'm getting all excited again to like do some extra physical activity.
It's exciting though,
Yeah.
because I feel like now you've yeah, last time you had one foot in the door and now you're in the door.
I know, but it's just like every time like we talked about it, like when we talked about it last time at the end, like I was ready to
Yeah.
start. Like I'm ready to start. Like, you know.
Yeah, you're in that next step now, and it's so
Mhm.
important that you've realized that and you're wanting it for yourself, you know? So it's nice because sometimes it's hard when an individual doesn't have motivation, but your motivation is there and you are ready to go. And it's just really exciting for me as like your counselor to really see you progress and evolve in this journey. And just by like the sounds after the first session and how far you've come already, like I can totally see how well this is going to be for you in the future and how great you're going to feel about yourself and overall your health is going to increase so much.
Yeah, and I thank you for saying that, first of all.
Of
Like I
course.
really appreciate these sessions. Like I find every single time that like we have these check-ins, like it just it gives me something else to work on. Like I felt like the first time I didn't really know what to expect, but after our session, I was excited to start something new. And I just feel like when you check in like this on me, like I feel like I'm doing it for myself, but I'm also like I'm excited to tell you about it. That's how
Yeah.
it feels. Like it feels like, okay, well in 2 weeks, like I know that she wants to know if I did it or not. So in my brain, I'm like excited because after I do it, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to tell her,
Yeah.
you know?
And I'm
So
really happy that you feel that way.
yeah. Yeah, well, I'm really happy in general. Like,
Uh,
thank you for your help. Like,
of
I'm really
course.
excited for like this session, and then now, like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna do the best I can. And yeah, we'll check. Like, I want to check in with you again.
Awesome. Yeah. And I just want to say, like, it really is touching to me that you can thank me on these things. And like, just as a counselor, I know how hard it can be for my clients sometimes to, put themselves in these kinds of positions and me like offering you all of these suggestions, but it is a lot coming from you and I really like it does touch my heart.
Yeah. Thank you. And I was wondering like if you had like any suggestions for me to kind of like, for the days that I'm not feeling as good about myself.
Yeah,
Because like when I don't do it, I sometimes am like, wow, like I didn't do it. So now like I go down this rut. But honestly, when you were telling me that like I don't have to do it in the specific days that I've said,
yeah, like it's
like
flexible.
that really helped me with like a different perspective because I'm such a on Tuesday I do this, and if I skip it on Tuesday, then I don't do it for the rest of the week.
Yeah,
So I think that like that message that you gave me is gonna help me with just do it when you can, but stick to the plan, but do it also when you can.
yeah,
So like on top of that, right? I really I that changed the perspective for me.
that's good. I'm glad I could do that for you. I think we talked about it briefly in our previous session too. It's like if you are in if you are in that kind of a space where you feel like, you know, I'm on this walk, it's only been 10 minutes, but I feel like I could go for another 10, like by all means, go for another 10, and then even if you do have a super stressful day where you're like, oh my gosh, I've got this test I have to study for, and I've got all these assignments, and you're like, I just genuinely feel like I need to focus my time on this assignment, then you have already kind of made up for that, physical activity from the day before. And you'll be like, okay, well, I pushed myself that day, so it's okay. And then the next day you'll be able to do it again, and you'll know like I focused my time properly, and at the end of the day, like I'm okay with the decision that I made, you know? And I think also another a good thing to have is I'm gonna provide you with a couple goal sheets.
Okay.
So I'll send them to you or print them off, whichever one you want more. But basically it's like it's a sheet that I'll give you. And on the sheet it'll basically be like these are the goals I want to achieve. This is what I'm doing right now. And then each time you achieve that goal, you like check it off.
Okay. Definitely.
And then that way it's kind of like a little bit of a reassurance thing for yourself. And you're like, well, I did do that.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
accomplish that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for actually.
yeah,
That just a little check mark. That's all
because
I need.
even this time, like you've achieved more than what you achieved more than what we talked about. So, and I think that now seeing that you're like like you just seem super invested and motivated to try, I think that this will be such a good way of you keeping holding yourself accountable. Because like you said, you need to see it as well. Like it's important for you to see it on like a schedule or like, you're like planning your days essentially. So I think that if you had like a goal sheet that had a couple different goals, you could even write like your your long-term cross country goal of like doing a marathon or doing a race, as like your third goal. And then writing out little steps that we can do together to like kind of reflect back onto that and achieve that ultimate goal in one day, and I think by you visually looking at that, you're gonna be able to like, okay, I did that. And it made me feel good about it.
Yeah, and like is with this work season stuff, like I'm really interested in finding approach. Is this something that like you would create or like would I be like filling it in and like giving it to you or like
Yeah.
or would it be like is it like for me like I don't like just the process like for the two of us to work
So
together.
it's a sheet that I've made,
Okay.
and I'll be giving it to you.
Okay.
And basically, we can either for the next session or at the end. Well, we're almost at the end of this session, so maybe for the next session or on your own time, you can write out. It'll tell you like goal, and then week 1, week 2, basically. So then you can write out your goals, like all 3 of them, and then each week or each like day, however you feel, you can write like I completed this or like I almost completed this, you know what I mean? And then the next session you'll come back in and we'll reflect on it together, but ultimately you'll keep them so that when you're a year from now and you're looking back, you're like, wow, I started here. You know what I mean? It's like a progressive chart. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I really want to try that. That sounds like something I would like. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's just for 1 month, or is it for 3 months?
So this one would probably be for the first month. Like I think it's one sheet per month,
Okay.
depending on how many days you have. So because we're doing cross country, and like we want to do more walking, we could do just one sheet because I think it's 3 goals per sheet. So we'll start off with that, and then the next session you'll come in, we'll go over the sheet and kind of discuss everything that you felt, everything that you've noticed a difference in, and all those little things.
Okay. And this is the gift you have to create, or do you have?
I have a template for it, so I'll just send it right to you, and you just fit it right in.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I would be really.
yeah, of course. So I'm just kind of gonna go over everything that we've talked about.
Okay.
Um, so before the next session, we're gonna try to incorporate like a more higher intensity level training to increase your endurance. So the cross country skiing. To do that, are you gonna look into some clubs or try it on your own at first?
For that, I'm gonna take your advice, I think. I'm gonna look into like the community,
Okay.
like to see if like there are like or like Instagram or something like where there's like groups that are already doing it,
Yeah.
people my age. And I'll send them a message, see if I could just join one day and they could explain everything to me, like show me the best trailer movie. Um, but that's the first thing I want to do. And then the second thing is um I want to find like if I don't feel like really meeting people right now, like if I just want to just go and try it out on my own before I start going with people, I think I'm just gonna look for like a facility rather than buy equipment on my own and just
Yeah.
run trails. Like I prefer like because I don't know if I like it or not yet. I just feel
You just
more
wanna
comfortable
get a sense.
renting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just renting. Um I think I'm gonna look to see like compare prices and stuff from different facilities. Because I know some places have like student discounts.
Mhm.
So
That's a good idea.
I just and I'm gonna probably be like on Weather Network every single day.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking it, just to see, you know.
And I think I'm gonna probably put myself like on like a as a goal, maybe I'm gonna be like, if it's not minus 35, it's good to go. Or
Yeah.
something. Maybe not minus 35, maybe like minus 15.
Yeah.
But like
That's achievable then.
I'm
Maybe.
I'm from the north, so minus 35
Yeah.
is more realistic.
Yeah.
But
It's okay.
oh,
Just bundle up.
yeah.
But
I think that's another incentive that I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna say, okay, like the weather's good, I'm good.
okay.
You know, and it's
Yeah.
gonna push myself. And I know like I can handle this. I'm gonna handle this winter this winter. Like this is encouraging me to like get out there more.
And try to be in the snow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love snow. I just don't like
The cold, yeah. Well, it seems that our time has come to an end, but I just want to say thank you so much for sharing with me. And I feel like we've really gone over a lot of great things today, and I'm really proud of you for achieving those goals and, you know, putting yourself out there. And I think that it's really important that you put yourself first. And I can see, and you can see overall that you're doing really great mentally and physically. And
Thank you for saying that.
yeah, of course.
It was really nice talking to you today. And
Thank you.
I am really this is new to me and but I'm really excited to do this with you.
Yeah, I'm
Even
excited
though even
too.
though I'm doing it, like I feel like we're a team right now.
We are a team, and I
Yeah.
always want you to feel like, you know, we are a team and we're in it together because ultimately, like, we're trying to help you become the best possible version of yourself. So I will see you maybe in a couple weeks. I will send you an email with a follow-up date, but thank you for coming in
Thank
today.
you for today.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.